Welcome to this special podcast series as part of the 25th anniversary celebrations of Caliber. This is called the Quality Talks, and we have with us our esteemed customers. Our customers have been an integral part of this 25-year journey. This 25-year journey is not just about us, but all these fabulous customers who really made this journey meaningful. There were customers who trusted us when we were small, through challenges us when we grew big, and also are supporting us today through our ups and downs. I have with me one such customer today, Himika Choksi, who is the Chief Operating Officer and Director of Choksi Labs. Welcome to the podcast, Himika.
Thank you for having me, Aparna.
So it's an absolute pleasure to know about your journey. This podcast is more about understanding you, how your career has grown, how you have grown your company, and what vision you have for your company.
So first of all, thank you for having me over, Aparna. I really
It's our
appreciate the
pleasure.
opportunity. So myself, I'm basically born and brought up in Indore itself, and I did my graduation from Indore in management sciences. And then I came to Hyderabad to do my post-graduation in information systems and technology. But after sitting at the computer the whole day in quality systems, I decided that was not my cup of tea. And so I headed back home. And almost immediately after I headed back home, my father gave me this challenge to start a new lab in Baroda.
Okay.
And that was my starting point and entry into the contract research organization business. And that was almost 23 years ago.
Wow.
My first challenge, I took it up, and basically it encompassed all aspects of business. Basically, you have to design the lab, you have to set it up, instrument qualification, recruitments, building the market base, meeting the customers. So it was a very good grounding in operations. And at a very young age, I got to experience it, and that experience was very, very useful for me later on in the business also. So that was my start. So very different from my father's, who was basically a chemist at heart.
Yeah, let me know more about the beginnings of Choksi Labs.
Sure. So Choksi Laboratories Limited was started by my father in a small garage that we owned just next to our home. So it was a true blue garage works company. And so once he graduated...
Microsoft also started in a garage.
Yes, so did HP.
Yes.
So once he graduated from college, he decided to do something in his chemistry background, utilizing his chemistry background. And at that time, there was no quality control testing lab in entire Madhya Pradesh. So the manufacturers here had to send samples to Bombay. So he started this lab in garage on his own, single person, collecting samples, doing the analysis, and then going back and delivering the reports. After a couple of years, then he also got EGMARC approval. And in 1993, we came out with our initial public offering. That was the launch pad for us. So in 1993, once the IPO came out, we then purchased an existing drug testing laboratory in Indore, and that was the entry into the pharma business for us. Since then, now it's been almost 40 plus years that we've been in the business, and we have a variety of divisions that we have initiated, from environment monitoring to calibration to drug research. And throughout it all, one thing has been constant is our customer focus. So that's been the topmost driving.
That's what makes organizations grow.
Yes, absolutely.
Customer is the focus.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very interesting journey. Actually, Shekhar recollects your father meeting him, way back in 98 or so, when I think he was trying to build a lab.
Right.
Make it a bigger lab.
Yes.
And he had taken him to Vimta Labs. Actually.
Yes, absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was a very coincidence in a small world, where Caliber team intersected with us before we even got to know Caliber in terms of the software solution provider.
At that time, I think Shekhar was not in Caliber, but he was working for a company called New Lab.
Yes.
So actually, as part of that, I think his boss in Mumbai had referred him to Shekhar, and Shekhar had taken him to visit Vimta Labs. And
absolutely. So my father was always on a lookout to understand how to better our lab in terms of... Vimta was way ahead of us in terms of starting point.
Yeah.
And so this was one of the meetings that propelled more ideas in my father. And, it's good to have that connection way back in 1998, still coming to, forefront now. But thank you for sharing that.
I think Choksi Labs is a very learning organization. I think a lot of it is to do with you also, because I think you have been learning a lot along the way. And not only learning on the job, but actually doing some specific courses to actually do your job better. So can you let me know more about what you have learned apart from the management sciences graduation and post-graduation?
Right. So essentially, as I mentioned, I was an information systems graduate and with no idea about CRO business. So when I started the Baroda lab, after that, we saw that the quality systems and the regulatory compliances in India were coming to the forefront, and Bureau of Indian Standards had also started asking for ISO 17025 recognition as well. So that was a starting point for me, entry for me in quality systems sector. And to do that job, like to make my company more resilient and compliant with the new standards that were coming in force, then I started taking up courses to understand more about quality systems. So now, after several years, I've taken up many such courses, and I'm a certified quality auditor for
Yes, that's so amazing,
CQA.
really.
And you always have to keep yourself updated. So we also have a learning program for our employees, where they are able to get external trainings from USP as well as ASTM, AOAC, these agencies. So they are always updated, abreast to the latest regulations.
That's really wonderful. Actually, in this world today, I think what is the deficit is talent.
Yeah.
And in your industry, definitely talent is one of the most important things, because I think a lot of things have to be done manually. So how do you manage your talent in the workforce?
Yes, there is a huge industry skills shortage when you see the freshers coming out of college. But we have, over the last 3 years, we have built a very good internship program. Every year we make it a point. We have MOUs with several universities. We hire at least 23 to 25, a batch of 23 to 25 interns.
Okay.
We take them through 3 to 6 months program at our lab, giving them grounding in everything from basic chemistry to instrumentation to quality systems, and they become the grounds for us to recruit later. And some of them are more than excited to join our team, and it also gives us an idea about who has that scientific inclination and who's really interested in making a mark or a career in this industry. So that has helped us kind of stabilize our human resources requirements quite a bit.
That's really interesting, because we had followed the same model for quite a long time.
Right.
So anyway, very interesting that we followed the same sort of strategy for people management.
Right.
So coming back to Choksi Labs, so what was the most defining moment in the Choksi Labs career till now, Choksi Labs journey till now?
Right.
So any defining moments, any turning points that you can speak of?
Yeah, there are lots of those. No journey is straight. There's a lot of highs and
stories
lows. Yeah, a lot of stories that I can share.
Yeah.
One of the stories that basically this is where we started our regulatory journey, I would like to say. So till 2007, we were basically a domestic lab and catering to pharmaceuticals and food sector in India. But in 2007, out of the blue, we got this communique from USFDA stating that, some of your data has been submitted and we would like to inspect you.
Okay.
And they gave us a 5-week notice.
Uh-huh.
So we were surprised, and we started calling our customers and asking, which of our customers has actually submitted this data.
Okay.
And then we found out that it was Piramal, and they were instrumental in supporting us, and they said, we are confident your data is good. We just need to make sure that, your systems are in place for the requirements that USFDA has. So for 5 weeks, our lab was on complete boot camp mode.
Oh.
And literally, that was like an eye-opener for me, that we could really suddenly catapult from this level of being at a domestic services lab to international lab. And we cleared the audit in one go. So that was the turning point for our
It's awesome, actually, because 5 weeks is not enough for so many companies to do this. Yeah, that's really
But we were always assured about our data quality. We were always a company that was doing things in the right way in terms of data integrity, in terms of quality systems. So for us, it was more of a procedural issue that we need to have several SOPs that are required and lots of workflows that are required specifically for US markets. So those were put in place, and obviously that has helped us grow quite a bit since then.
Yeah, that's because you took up the challenge.
Yes,
challenge
absolutely.
gave you an opportunity. So when you look back at your father, and you must have seen him struggle right from the days when he started it in the garage. So what kind of leadership traits do you think you have inherited? Apart from the entrepreneurial bug, of course, what other traits do you think you have inherited? What make up the culture of Choksi Labs now?
In a nutshell, it would be customer focus.
Okay.
That's the only thing. My father believes that, where you have to walk the walk of the customer, you have to meet their requirements, and once you grow with your customers, you're definitely going to do well. And that's been our motto throughout. We've grown very organically with our customers, and almost 99.9% of our business is repeat business, with our customers being with us for decades together. So we make start of every year, we meet our customers and we ask them, where are you going this year? What are the products you're launching? What is it that you are going to do this year? And we sit them and have this discussion. And then based on that, we decide what should we be doing to support them in their journey. So that helps us serve them better and make sure that we are also growing with them. And that's our key decision, that's a key motto.
Yeah, that resonates so much with what we are doing as well. We also try to understand what customers are doing, how they are growing, and then how we can help them also in their vision. Coming back to your childhood, I've heard that you were very good in sports.
Oh.
And you used to play a lot of sports. So can you just tell me more about that?
Yeah, so sports was a very big part in my household, and I am a nationals level baseball player myself. Yeah, I've been associated with all sorts of sports, like from tennis to basketball to you name it. Like baseball, of course, was my passion. So till childhood, we had full freedom to do whatever we wanted to do, and of course, once we graduated, then you have to get into the industry. Yeah. So unfortunately, after my graduation, I've kind of lost touch with it. But still, I still feel that sports plays a very important role in one's life in shaping how you approach everything. One of the things that I learned from sports is that you have to be nimble at all times. Yes. It doesn't matter if you're winning. If you lose your focus for a little bit, you're gone. Yeah. So that has shaped my philosophy in business also. You need to be nimble all the time to make sure that you are getting your goals and you're meeting your customers. You're as good as your next delivery, basically.
Yeah, in sports, you actually learn how to accept defeat also and also learn from it.
Yes.
It makes you more resilient as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you did not join the business immediately after your education, isn't it? So what were you doing before you joined Choksi Labs again?
So as I mentioned, I was in information systems. So right out of college, I was selected by Tata Infotech. And so I was working in their quality assurance department, quality systems specialist. And I worked there for a couple of very, very short, brief time. And but as I mentioned that, sitting behind a desk was not really for me. And I earned a little bit freedom and meeting customers and building my own thing. When you are at a very young age into an infotech company, you're given this role that boxes you up, quality systems, and this is your work you have to do. Whereas I really wanted to build something, an organization, and that's the reason I left that and started work with my father.
But you were also in Canada for some time.
Yes, so that was after, so till 2007, I worked with my father building the company, and then I migrated to Canada. Okay. And there I worked for another company called Maxim Analytics. Now it's Bureau Veritas, taken over by Bureau Veritas. Mm-hmm. So there I was heading quality assurance for their Southern Alberta labs. And that is a laboratory network which is dedicated to environment management, basically oil sands projects, as well as water, air monitoring. Those are the kind of projects that we were leading there because Alberta is the oil sands hub. So I did that for a couple of years before I returned back to India and took up the reins again.
All this must have really enriched your experience, isn't it? And
Yes, absolutely.
That would have been applied in Choksi Labs. So how much of pharma does Choksi Labs do? Because I think you're doing food also.
Yes. So we have 5 divisions. We have agro and agro derivatives, which was our starting point. Then we have pharmaceuticals, which started late, but now it is almost 50% of our businesses coming from pharma. And the remaining 50% is environment monitoring, calibration, industrial calibration, and qualification. And then we are also doing food testing and water testing. A little bit of our work is basically also into construction materials testing. So basically all your infrastructure projects that come out, like metros and dams and roadworks, those kind of projects. So we do the quality control testing for that as well.
Quite a varied portfolio.
Quite a varied portfolio, yes.
Yeah. So coming to pharma, because that's how we are connected, what sort of trends do you see in pharma?
Yeah, so it's very interesting. Definitely AI is going to drive drug discovery in a very big way in pharma. And not just drug discovery, it is going to become integral part of all the software systems that and applications that the pharma industry is using as well. Apart from that, in pharmaceuticals now there's a shift away from small molecules to complex generics. And in Europe, now more and more there's a shift away to individualized, customized medicine. So that's protein and peptide-based medicines, individualized, customized to you and customized to me. So Europe is at the forefront of this right now. Even North America is quite behind this at the moment. But this is going to be the next wave of things. And these treatments are very, very effective because they're customized to my DNA. And therefore, those are going to be the future of the industry. And lastly, because of all the threats that we are facing, so we have threats from climate change, we have threats from tariffs, we have
that's in the news.
So, I know. And then we have threats from all the wars and uncertainty in the international trade that's going on. So because of all of this, the supply chain is greatly impacted. And so there's a need for a very resilient supply chain that is going to be available to pharmaceutical industry, but not compromising on the quality aspects. So these 3 definitely would be major concern areas and growth areas in the pharma industry.
So is Choksi Labs going to go bigger into the pharma? I mean, more than the 50%? Or are you going to grow in all areas equally?
So we are constantly evaluating which areas are doing well on an annual basis. This year, of course, we believe that pharma biologics is going to be growing much more rapidly, and it needs a lot more effort from our end, and a lot more investment, a lot more time, and learning resources to be placed into it. So definitely, pharma is going to be at the forefront, but we are also interested in food security. And food security is also going to be a very big business because of similar reasons to pharmaceuticals. What they are facing, the same challenges that they're facing, the same challenges food industry is also facing. So those 2 will be our definitely driving sectors.
So what is going to drive Choksi Labs' vision? Like, what is a vision for Choksi Labs in the next 5 years?
That's so we have grown very, very organically over the last 40 years of our growth story. And what I want to achieve personally with my next 2 to 3 year plan is essentially to scale up the business. So we have a lot of customers that audit us, but we are not a part of their complete growth story yet. So we want to integrate with them in more areas, work more closely with them, and make sure that our growth is almost doubled in the next 2 to 3 years. And that is my personal target. So let's see if we are able to do it or not. But definitely that's the plan.
So after you took over as CEO, Chief Operations Officer, so what sort of changes did you bring in the operations, which made it more efficient and more profitable?
So the first audit that I faced after coming back from Canada was in 2016. And it was the most difficult audit I have given because everything was on paper. Pretty much everything was on paper. And that was an audit I decided this is probably the last audit I'm going to give with so much paper. And so we, in 2017, we went online with our QAMS software, which is completely online. And since then, we've made sure that all our QAMS software as well as our laboratory software is completely online to reduce data integrity risks, to increase transparency during the audits. And in the same stream, we also partnered with Caliber also way back in 2020. So
just before the COVID struck.
Just before the COVID struck, yeah. And the reason for doing that was the same, that we wanted to integrate the instrument data into our software and make sure that analysts' workflow burden is lessened and data integrity is really heightened, and you're able to control every aspect of the work that is done. And as soon as an auditor opens the data, there is just so much audit trail and traceability and transparency available that they get a good feeling and a good confidence on the entire laboratory itself. So that's one of the main things that I want to focus on and make sure that our data is good data. That is one of the key things that I want to focus on.
So you have seen to it that you are always audit ready.
Always audit ready. We call it as an ATR.
You don't need the 5 weeks to prepare for the audit.
So we have the ATR team, that is the all-time readiness team.
Wow.
Their job is to make sure that they continuously do surprise audits during their rounds. Okay. They don't have an audit schedule. They're constantly on the go, on their feet.
That's really nice. That's proactively working towards that. Really good. So coming to Caliber, so I know our experience has been, a lot of things which were expected initially.
Right.
There were some hiccups along the way, but there was great collaboration. I think when I hear from the team the experience of the complete implementation at Choksi Labs, one of the things which stands out is the collaboration which happened between both the teams.
Yes.
How they helped in all the configurations. And I think you also have played a great part in actually enriching our product as well, because at that time there were some things which were not there, what were needed for you. But then I think our teams collaborated and we could actually build that in the product and make it successful. So actually Lokesh was recollecting the go live function.
Yeah.
And he told that you had given a big speech on the journey of the entire implementation. And he felt really very inspired by that you acknowledged all the efforts which was put in by our team as well.
Yeah.
It's not every customer who acknowledges that also, right? Because that's really great on your part. And it's been a great experience.
Yeah.
And I think it has been a good relationship from then on. So I think our team also has great accolades for your team. And that's what matters, we feel.
Yeah, so we are always looking for vendors who are able to help us in our journey, just like we support our vendors, our clients. Similarly, if our vendors don't support us, we won't be able to deliver to our customers. So Caliber has been absolutely amazing in providing that support to us. Yes, it took us quite a long journey to get there, and that was partly due to COVID-19. So that was basically a very difficult situation both for Caliber as well as for us also working remotely and trying to understand through that distance. But still, once the software went live, we realized its potential, and the support that we have received, not just during the go live or the go live, but even after that, has been phenomenal. So the support is not limited to software support, but auditor queries, regulatory inspection queries, client queries related to data, that has been just superb. And I really wish you the best for, you continue to do what you're doing. You're on the right path.
Thank you. So how do you want us to support you in your vision for Choksi Labs?
So as I was discussing with your team earlier today, one of our major goals for us is to simplify the workflows. This is a major challenge in any contract testing laboratory. The burden for an employee, the more it is reduced and the more this workflow is simplified, the better the person will be able to perform it at their task, the less errors there will be in the data. One of the things that I would love to see in your software and would love to work with you on this is also that we'd love to see AI integration into the workflows so that we can automate several of the mundane tasks that are already present. So let's say I open my dashboard and instead of having to click on every module and going there and seeing what is pending, the AI assistant is able to pull up, these are my tasks for the day that need my attention, and this is my priority for the day. And whatever, like simple things like automating sample scheduling, electronic review, submission for the review after the errors have been reviewed and released from audit trails. Those kind of things, if they are automated, it's really going to cut down the time to releases to the batch. And therefore, I think that is one of the key things we will focus on, and we will be requesting from Caliber for support in the coming few months. But that is a major focus, to drive productivity through automation.
Okay, so you're looking at AI integration into the
Yes.
product. So what message would you like to give our team on the occasion of our 25th anniversary?
Well, you have lasted 25 years. That is more than some of the pop bands, right? so you're definitely doing something great, and continue to do that. And customers will support you if you support them. So your journey has been incredible. Continue to work like a startup, be nimble, understand what the customer wants, and the customers will be behind you. Don't worry. So we are behind you.
Thank you so much, Himika.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you so much. So that was Himika Choksi for you. Forever learning, forever simple, and forever nimble. Thank you so much for watching this podcast.